today you approach me. I've been thinking about you and you only. And we just like a fuck, that's nothing else. You know, I'm falling in love, that's for someone else.
Anyways, in this video, we're going to be reacting to Chig Smooth. Kendrick Lamar sat down with SZA for an interview and talked about the Not Like Us diss, stuff regarding after the beef, how he felt, whatever. I don't know too much about it, but it's Kendrick Lamar. It's my favorite rapper. I gotta get on it. Him sitting down for interviews is making me feel like the rumor or the speculation that he might be dropping Friday, which is Drake's birthday, might be true. But I said in a different video that I really hope he doesn't, because I feel like it's just gonna be like made about Drake when it shouldn't be. I want a Kendrick album as soon as possible, but I don't want him to do anything out of like pettiness and then it like overshadow what he's actually trying to say in the album, you know? So, anyways. If he drops, I'll be happy we're getting music, but I already know what mofos are gonna say. They're gonna be like, oh my god, like, he can't do shit without it being about Drake. He can, you know what I'm saying? So, whatever. But anyways, let's get into it.
No Chig Smooth in here, right? So whatever you say,
you know Chig gonna have everything up there.
Whatever you say, Chig's gonna be on YouTube with it, man.
Kendrick Lamar is now doing interviews as he sat down with Harper's Bazaar magazine. But obviously there has to be a little bit of a wrinkle with everything that Kendrick Lamar does. So this interview, even though it was for this magazine, it was done at the request of Kendrick by SZA. They get into mental health and motivation, and Kendrick says his actions are not motivated by anger, but understands that love and war both deserve to be acknowledged. Not that they represent him, but he acknowledges that they both need to exist in the world. And of course, he would be asked about Drake and Not Like Us, and he would give his definition of what it means to him. What's up, y'all? It's your man Talker's World Report for the Chig Smooth channel. We gotta talk about
Where's
this.
Chigs? I just want to know. I don't have an issue with this. I just want to know. I'm nosy.
SZA didn't waste any time. As soon as they sat down, she starts off saying, I want to ask you about your mental health. Do you
Hold on. Oh, is he gonna read
feel
it?
like you suffer from mental illness or experience it ever? Or do you just feel like you're in a multitude of feelings and you're not putting a label on it? Kendrick would say, I grew up with that term. I was hearing it when I was 5 or 6 years old. So you identify with it, but not as it. Then he says, my whole thing is, it's all experience. I say some shit on a record and identify with a moment, and then I don't identify with it anymore. That's just growth for me. All that shit is subjective. Then SZA says, it's giving self-therapy, which Kendrick replies, I think it's going back to my inner child, right? I was trying to understand myself, trying to find people I could relate to, how to identify myself outside myself. It sounds crazy to a lot of people. I really can't see myself out of my body. When I do that, I have no judgment towards it. It's too many eyes on me to not remove myself. That shit is scary to anybody else, which SZA.
Okay, so first and foremost, I love this approach. I feel like it was a more comforting setting for it to be like a friend and a label mate, a former label mate, to do this interview instead of like somebody that he isn't sure of their, you know, motives. He doesn't know why. He's gonna feel more comfortable with somebody that he knows. You know what I'm saying? So I first of all love that, and then I just love the depth of the conversation and the back and forth, and it's giving like you're talking to a friend, and it just seems like a more comfortable environment. So I fuck with that.
SZA focuses on and asks, are you scared? And he would say, no, because I've learned that I can't identify with my performances on stage. I can't hold my true whole identity to that person who's on stage. Because if I did, that means I would judge every movement, every time I mess up a lyric, every time I'm off key. It's too much to deal with. So I have to have a distance between the performer and the person I close my eyes and look at the ceiling with. I had to develop that tough skin at like 16 or 17 years old, not knowing it was not only for my career, but for myself. It's mentally ill for sure. And then the conversation gets a little more spiritual, as before asking about God, SZA asks, have you done ayahuasca? And Kendrick says no, which he then replies to surprise, saying, what? I wonder how you're arriving at all these conclusions. I want to talk to you about your spiritual practices. How many spiritual practices contribute to...
Hold on. Ayahuasca's a drug? I take ashwagandha, you know. I don't think it works anymore. Like initially I could feel like it was working, but like now, maybe I don't take it in like the midst of an anxiety attack, to be completely honest. I don't. I usually take it at nighttime, so I don't even know if it's fucking working.
a day. And he says, all day, every day. She says, all day is ceremony? And Kendrick gets personal saying, ain't no BS, ain't no cliche, but I literally talk to God. Like, it's to a point where I'll be starting to think I'm going crazy. But then he has to remind me, no, this is really me. Well, if that's true, and he does talk to God every day, how was Drake ever gonna win a rap battle against God? Drake said 20 versus 1, but I guess he missed a very important person. But Kendrick will continue. My early morning practice
God
is that I
sent
have to
person.
run. When I started running, that's where I started to understand. There was this threshold of pain in the spirituality for me. I remember my shins was aching and I was like, I got 1 mile to go. Then I get whispers and downloads and start talking about shit that I want to know about. And next thing, I'm 3 miles in, 4 miles in. I wake up and do it every day. She says, loss of self, you have to break yourself. And he replied, I have to. And then SZA would try to dig deeper into his internal creative and spiritual practice.
I admire that though, because you know, self-discipline is something that I struggle with for certain things. Like, let's be real, when it comes to these fucking videos, I'm on it, okay? It don't matter how tired I am, no matter what time it is. I've done videos up until fucking like 3 a.m. knowing I have work the next day, just because this is something that I really enjoy and want to like get better at. But when it comes to other stuff, whew, sometimes my discipline is not the greatest. Something I gotta work on, but I fuck with this this pushing yourself to a healthy degree, but just keep pushing, like you just believing in yourself, and eventually it gets easier.
As she says, I'm grateful for the God T. Sidebar, what do you feel like your top 3 contributing factors to self-transformation in the last few years have been? And he says, the power of honesty and being honest with myself, perspective about the person sitting across from me, and learning that vulnerability is not a weakness. That last one probably been one I'm still developing. To that, SZA will ask which one was the most difficult, and Kendrick will talk about his childhood and how there is no growth without vulnerability. He says the last one was most difficult. She says why? And he replies, we talk about our childhood. I hate going back to that. It's traumatizing. My pops, he was tough. He was militant. As far as every day, you are expected to go to work, take care of your family,
Father
get back
time.
up to do it all over again. Being a man type shit, right? And he never showed no weakness. He never showed any emotion that could garner a one-up from the person sitting across from him. And I learned to experience that, not knowing I had them same traits, right? But for what I do, there is certainly no growth without vulnerability. If I understood the power of vulnerability earlier, I could have had more depth and more reach to the guys that was around me in the neighborhood coming up. You know, our parents, they never had these outlets to express themselves the way they wanted to. I've always looked at us as somewhat of a beacon of hope for them. I've always wanted to know, how does your mom feel about your self-expression? He would ask SZA. SZA would give a story about how her mom grew up and how SZA was able to give her mom freedom through her music. And Kendrick said, you did give her freedom. And SZA says, and she gave it to me. But she would turn that right into, when was the last time you cried? When was the first time you cried? And Kendrick would say, I would say the last time I cried was probably on Mr. Morale, on the Mother I Sober record. It was deep for me. SZA would
That
ask,
shit was deep. That was a deep ass track, to the point where I think I cried the first time I heard it. I'm so glad I didn't react to that. Oh, I'm so glad, because I was like, sheesh, this shit is heavy as fuck.
he said, now? Yeah, I have to. She said, it's cleansing. And he replied, it might be easier for you though, which SZA replies to, I cry all the time. I'm gonna cry right now because that's just beautiful. Wait, you didn't tell me. What was the first time that you allowed it to happen? Which then Kendrick says, the first time I allowed it to happen is documented, actually on stage. In 2011, when Dre and Snoop and the whole West Coast was out,
the first
and
time
they
you
was
cried
like,
in your
this is the
life.
torch that we were handing off. Dre passed me the torch, and a burst of energy just came out, and I had to let it flow. My tears is all on the internet.
Wait. Oh.
Because it showed me in real time.
I thought he was saying everybody's name, but it left out the game, but he said in the West Coast.
Time expressing myself and seeing all the work that I put forth actually come to life in that moment. And for those of you who don't remember, here is that moment.
Nigga, you got the torch, nigga. You better run with it. You better run with it, nigga, because it's yours.
That's overwhelming. I know. So I understand.
Then after a couple more questions, she would get right into the real question that we all want to know. Can I ask you a hyper masculine question? You can also tell me to shut the F up. What does not like us mean to you? He would laugh and say, not like us? Not like us is the energy of who I am, the type of man I represent. Now, if you identify with the man that I represent, SZA will cut him off saying, break that man down for me. And Kendrick will say, this man has morals, he has values, he believes in something, he stands on something. He's not pandering. He's a man who can recognize his mistakes and not be afraid to share the mistakes, and can dig deep down into the fear-based ideologies or experiences to be able to express them without feeling like he's less of a man. If I'm thinking of not like us, I'm thinking of me and whoever identifies with that. SZA says, now, can I say something else in that realm? Or you want me to get away from that? Can I ask you something else? And hilariously, he asked, is it mean? She says, no, it's more like, I thought.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, the intention with SZA, she's making it very clear, like, if you don't want to talk about this, we don't have to talk about this. An interviewer would have been, like, trying to egg him on. The camera's on now. Make him uncomfortable. Make him force him to answer certain questions he doesn't want to ask. I love this. I love all of it.
Thought it was really interesting that there was any consensus at all that you might be an angry individual. For me, I don't find that any energy that comes from you comes from an angry place. And actually, the last hour and change pretty much solidifies that it's almost from a monk-like place. So when you feel the surge of energy in records like that, where is the root? Is it anger? And he would say, I don't believe I'm an angry person, but I do believe in love and war. And I believe they both need to exist. And my awareness of that allows me to react to things but not identify with them as who I am. Just allowing them to exist and allowing them to flow through me. That's what I believe. And SZA says, I'm going to quit while I'm ahead before I say something crazy. Do you think SZA did a great job when she's done doing music? Is being an interviewer or having a podcast?
I mean, she could be an interviewer. Do I think that's what she needs to be? No. But I like that it was a safe space. It didn't feel like an interrogation. It didn't feel like judgment. It was very much, tell me if I'm going too far, tell me whatever. It was just like a therapeutic type of thing. And I really fuck with that. Amazing.
Something that you would want to see in her future? Let me know in the comment section. But her doing well here does not mean she would not have any backlash, as someone would say. So let me get this straight. SZA, who was on For All the Dogs twice.
I don't give a fuck. Y'all are about to piss me the fuck off. She's on TDE. Are you stupid? Are you dumb?
And known Drake for 10 years personally, interviewing Dot, her former label mate, about the PDF traffic.
No, he ain't put that. He ain't put former label mate. These people act stupid as fuck. And it makes me mad. DMCB. Go back to playing football, buddy. This is United. This is not your strong suit. Clearly.
And she just didn't know his sick ass behavior the entire time. Do you agree with this? What do you think about the situation? Do you think more artists should do written interviews? Let me know in the comment section. Peace.
Of course she got backlash because people have said that multiple. Anyways, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, this was dope. I just don't want to even like acknowledge any hate. That's like, this was like a really pure and genuine moment, so I don't even want to talk about the hate, to be honest. But yeah, I really fuck with this. I really like his answers. I feel like the not identifying with the person that's on the stage, that's very deep to me, because I think that people should do that in every aspect. Like when you're at work, I feel like you just have versions of yourself, I feel like if you identify with every version of yourself completely, that it's going to hinder you. Like he said, if he identified with himself on stage, he would be so hard on himself. And so that's why I think that he said like the separation was necessary. And I feel like we all need to do that in different aspects of our lives, because you can't fuck up in at your job or something like that and like take it to heart or whatever. But if you like create a tiny bit of separation between the two versions of yourself, I feel like that'll just help. I don't know, maybe I'm yapping. Anyways, y'all like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok. I'll see y'all in a minute.
Your bro got chinged, in fact, I'm the